and welcome. You're watching Agenda. Last month, the Supreme Court gave a landmark judgment where they said, while responding to a plea made by 3 infants, the court ruled that there should be a ban on firecrackers here in the National Capital Region. Now, similar to that, and perhaps inspired by that, we see another court case which has been initiated by children again. This time 6 children. And what they're fighting for is perhaps something that residents and citizens across the country are passionate about and have an issue with. They're not just fighting for clean and fresh air. These children are also fighting for safe, clean public spaces because they live in parts of the capital called Mundka, which is in the western Delhi region, which the pollution levels are higher than any other part of the country. They also have another problem. They don't have green spaces. And while public laws and bylaws say that you have to have at least 15% of green cover in any built-up area, you see governments bypassing that in setting up unauthorized colony. So today we have with us the 2 lawyers who are helping those children achieve something and achieve what is their right, clean public spaces that are accessible. We'll be speaking to them. We also hope to get you those 6 children and their voices here on the show about why they are going to court. But you have to understand, they live very, very far, right at the edge of the capital. So we're going to try and go across to them, have their voices here with them. But before we do that, let me just introduce our panel, their lawyers, Rahul Chaudhary and Meera Gopal, who are fighting on behalf of those 6 children. And remember, this story really matters because it's not just the lawyers, it's their parents who are involved. And I'm just going to read out to you a letter that was sent in and as part of the court case written by the school teacher about why the National Green Tribunal has to step in to make a difference. And we also have with us Dr. M.P. George, who's a scientist with the Delhi Pollution Control Board, who will help us understand what the state is doing. And we hope to have the BJP spokesperson with us as well to answer questions about why is it that the DDA and the central government allows these spaces to come up which are encroached upon. The audience over here with lots of questions, because remember, this is about you and me and all of us and the children and what is their right for public space. Before we move on and before we speak to Rahul, I just wanted to read out to you what the teacher has said in court. This is a teacher called Om Veer Singh, who is a teacher at the Government Boys Senior Secondary School of Mundka. Remember, Mundka is the area which is a new upcoming right at the edge of the capital. And this is why he has what he has said in his affidavit as a physical education teacher. And these words are so moving. He says, I find it very worrisome that during the months from October to March, when temperatures are low, the air becomes heavier, one can feel pollution in the air. During these months, more often than not, whenever the students start doing any physical activity, they start coughing in a period of 5 minutes. This sounds very familiar to many parents who are dealing with pollution in the city. But he says, understanding the pollution is clogging their lungs. I try to stop them from playing, but children want to play oblivious of the damage their health is suffering from. I continue to go through this dilemma, whether to stop their physical activities or not. On one hand, I'm duty-bound to engage students in sports. On the other hand, I find it counterproductive to their health. Rahul, I wanted to ask you, is this the kind of cry for help that led you and Meera to help these children?
See, first of all, if you see the Mundka area, if anyone even is seeing the Google, if you are not able to visit that area, this entirely concretized area, and some of the unauthorized industrial development which happened in past was regularized, and the open spaces, whatever is left, whatever 5%, 10% is left in that area is also scheduled for industrial development. Now, if you see the pollution chart in that area, in rest of the Delhi, at same period in February, it was below 200 and this area was more than 500. So you can imagine the kind of pollution level which is there and the kids which are there which are suffering. So getting outside of the house means they cannot stop that. But in the time, at the same time, if you see the medical records also in that area, there was a news article published that the maximum number of asthma cases are in Mundaka. So the pollution level is quite high. Along with the kids, parents are worried. The
So
teachers
Meera,
are
give
worried.
us an idea about what is the difference. Suppose in central Delhi, the pollution, it shouldn't be more than 100, but usually it's about 250, 300. What would it be in that region where the kids are fighting?
So Mundaka area, as just said, that it's mostly concretized, but what we see in other parts of Delhi is that green areas are much more available for people to, with respect to air pollution reduction as well. But in Mundaka, only 1% is shown as green in that area. Now, we can also look at on a policy level. We see that most of the time it's the affluent people who have all they have access to such spaces, while economically backward or weaker sections like in Mundaka, most of the people are from a weaker economically weaker background, but they do not have the access. So it also shows the inequality with respect to environmental how they deal with.
Well, this seems to be a problem. While this particular case is related to only the capital, what seems to touch a chord and what may be common with many other areas is that even if you're living in a place like Mumbai, then it is your access to a play area, it is your access to green open spaces, and its encroachment by other builders or other authorities which seems to be the problem. So this case might have a turn on. Whatever comes out of the outcome of this case, you're hoping perhaps could have a trickle-down effect in affecting other cases as well, which could be cited by other places as well, other cities, right?
So in this, the issue not only the open space but also the bringing down the pollution level, because the area is surrounded by the industry, vehicular pollution, industrial pollution, everything is happening in that area. So the concentration of pollution is high. Now the issue is, even if this last remain of the open area, if you get it for the industrial development, then this 500 may be permanently to be more than 1,000, which was there in Delhi a few months back.
And we are hoping to get the children, but the children are 12 to 16 years old. Do they all have problems themselves? Who are the children? Because there were many other children there. The teacher talks about all the children in the government schools who have problems. But who are these 6 children? Tell us about them.
See, they're all resident of that area. They are studying in that school in the nearby, in that locality. There are lots of children who wanted to come before the court, raise this issue. But 6 of them came forward, and then we also decided, rather than
it
can be a
personally?
representative basis.
Okay, so I wanted to just ask you, Dr. George, why is it that in one city you have various areas? Why is it this particular one has such higher, double the pollution levels from the rest of the city? Why is that?
Look, first of all, when we talk about ambient air quality in Delhi, we are talking about 1,400 square kilometer of landlocked area.
Yeah.
A typical city with highest population density, highest vehicular density.
Yeah.
And when we talk about how the pollution is cleaned up, either you must get the rains. So we get only a few rainy days in the monsoon and very scanty rain in the winter. So whatsoever it's coming, it's getting accumulated. When we talk about Delhi, we have the strictest norm. We shut down the power stations. We have the Euro 4 vehicles. We have the best fuel available. But as soon as you go out of this 1,004 square kilometer area, the things change.
And this would be outside that one?
Outside. No, it's Mundaka, it's inside
Yeah.
only. I'm just talking about Delhi's pollution.
Right.
But as soon as you go to Ghaziabad, Faridabad, or just cross the border of Delhi, you get the old vehicles. The industries which is shifted from Delhi is just across the geographical line, and they are emitting the pollution. And the unfortunate part, air don't follow the political boundaries. Everything's come out. If you talk about the NCR region, there are 4,000 brick lanes that's emitting smoke. They burn anything which can be burnt. The rubber, the husk, anything. And when we talk about Delhi, the 3 peaks come here. It's very normal. Once in the October and November.
Which is what the teacher was talking about, October
yes,
to March.
What he was talking. Then comes the summer.
Okay, I want
Then
to
the
take that
winter.
point about how industries are just shifted outside. RP Singh, as a spokesperson for the government at the centre, and the government, the NGT has sent in their notices to they have sent it to Delhi government, they've also sent it to the Central Pollution Board and also asked the centre, why is this happening? What would you say? Why is it that the policies, first of all, they don't have a space to play, they only have 1%. The figures say out of 147 acres of vacant land, that's been proposed to be used for more industrial activity, and in 4,000 acres in 11 municipal wards, only 1% is green. What would you say about that? That's so unfair.
Okay, let me first say this, that it's not politics. I mean, just understand the issue and what are the way out. Since they are learned friends from the as environmental lawyers sitting here, I'm suggesting few things and they can come back to us on that. One is that there should be mandatory one tree plantation by the local civic authority or the local government per household. Mandatory. I mean, otherwise no fresh map, no fresh building should be allowed. Second, it should be mandatory that all center wards should be converted into green. I mean, there should be green bushes instead of those iron grills. It should be just pure green bushes. Thirdly, they can think about this. I mean, odd even did work to a certain extent, but it didn't work all that well. But we can make it. We can ensure that we make it mandatory for 50 minimum to start with 50 roads, which should be transferred to one-way roads, where traffic can on peak hours should only travel by one way, and it is doable in Delhi. It's workable in Delhi. Fourthly, which is very much, I think, which can be worked. I mean, and if the NGT and local government works on it, that push e-vehicles, push electrical vehicles, and give them incentives. Remove all what you levy as local taxes on the e-vehicle and give them incentive by way of telling them we will give you interest-free finance.
But I'm asking you about the policies till now. Why is it that the government has allowed, the DTA would have allowed, or the municipal ward, and the municipal ward here you can't even say that's under the BJP. Why is it the municipal ward only has 1% green cover, whereas all advisories say it should be 15%?
I just now said that there should be a law, should be there by the local government, ensuring that every house, every new building plan which comes up is mandatory that a tree has to be planted along with it and to be maintained along with it. I'm saying that otherwise there are no options. I mean, because until there's a law, people will not do it. People will not abide by it. So I'm saying that there has to be regulation to be brought for that.